Hi, welcome to the training today. My name is Singh. Today I will be covering two of the apps that you will be using for protecting your private keys. The first one here is the key splitter or combiner. And what it does is I have a private key here on my desktop here. I can open that to show you here. So this is my private key here. And what we're going to do is we're going to split that private key into two pieces. So it's going to require those two pieces or each of those pieces will be divided into different holders. So two people will control one part of each of that key. And this is a governance program where you don't want just one person holding on to the private key. It's going to take two people to hold one piece each, and they have to combine that to recreate that private key. So if you want to decrypt a particular file, a secure file, you're going to need those two people to come together. Okay, so that's the purpose of this app here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to input in the password, and I'll input in the password. And it's going to ask you for two things, pretty much. The first one is it's going to ask you for the private key to divide, and the second option is for you to be able to combine those two private shares of that key. You can divide it to however many pieces you like. Two is usually the recommended split. So here I'll just pick the first option here. And it's going to tell you to point to the key that you want to split. So I have it right on my desktop here, so I'll just choose that. Open that. Okay, and then it's going to ask you how many pieces you want to split it into. We're going to choose two. You could split into hundreds of pieces if you like, but two is usually the recommended split. So, and then it's going to ask you to set the password for the first part. So I'm going to put in a password here, confirm that password. And then the second piece, we're going to put in the password for the second piece. So this is where if your governance program for your company, if you want, you can have the second person input in their password, so only they will know their password. Okay, then it's going to create a folder and drop those shares in there. So it's off screen. I'm going to pull it down real quick here so you can see it. We'll open that folder there, and you'll see the two shares there. So these two shares combined together should give us our original key here. Okay, so if I open one of those, you can see split that, and this software here uses the Zor, and it's used for the RSA 37 private key. It uses AES, okay, 1,000 iterations, then Zor, and then password per file as well. Let me open that second share there so you can see it as well. Okay. All right, we'll close that. So here it's going to ask us if we want to do it again. We'll say yes, and we're going to recombine those keys to get that private key back. So I'll choose option number 2. It's going to tell us where. So we got the shared folder here, and we'll pick the first one. Okay, enter the password, and we'll enter the password here. Okay, any more pieces? Yes. We'll pick the second one. Enter the password, and this is where when you're combining the keys back together to get your private key, each individual that's holding that particular piece, they have to input in their correct password. Okay. And we'll input in this second password. Is there any more pieces? No, no more. So you can create another folder here. And let me close out of this software here. And let's open that folder, and this is the new private key, or it's identical to the original one. I'm gonna rename this, and I can compare it to the first key so you can see it. I'll just rename this new here. Okay. If I open that, this is my new here key, which is the original one. I'm going to open the original one too so that you can see that they're exactly alike here. So this is the original one here. You can see if I go to the new key, they are identical. Okay. Unix, LF. Okay. Here we go. Exactly identical. Okay. So we'll close out of that there. Okay. So that's how that software works. The second software, this one here, this is the, it's called the File Shredder app. You can delete certain files, or it's mainly built to delete the key files. So once you're done recombining it, you got your private key, you use that to decrypt your files. You're done decrypting files. Now you want to securely delete those keys. Okay, so this is where this app comes in. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to enter our password. It's going to ask us if we want to proceed. We'll say yes. It's going to ask us which one, and we're going to pick our new private key there. We're going to delete that. Okay, so one of the main reasons for this app is, say if you're on Windows and you just manually delete a file, you can right click on it, such as this here. Let me open that folders. You can right click and you can choose delete, or you can drag it into your recycle bin and you can delete it that way. Well, what that does is that it sets that partition where your file is written on your hard disk to delete, but it doesn't really erase it from memory. It is actually still there and can still be recovered. If you're using a solid state drive, those are a little bit trickier. Even if you delete them, you still recover them. So what this app here does is it helps you to securely delete those files so that even if it's recovered, it's not readable. So the description here says it overwrites it, it encrypts it 3 times using AES, GCM, okay, and it doesn't say the key at all, so it just uses random keys. Then it deletes it, then it purges from the memory also. So even if you delete those keys and let's say your system is compromised, it's very, very difficult to actually reassemble them to be used to decrypt your secure files. So that's the main purpose of this software here. Okay, so what we did was we told the app here that we want to delete that particular key that we just created. It's going to ask us one more time here, are you really sure? We'll say yes. And then it's going to overwrite the file with random bytes. 1 pass encryption, 2, 3 random AES encryption, and then it deletes it from the disk and it purges the memory. Okay. Would you like a log? Yes, we want a log. And this is mainly for regulators and auditors. Anytime you delete something critical such as that, private keys that you created, you want to make sure you have a log. Say yes. And what that does is, it's off screen right now, but I'll open the log here. So this is the log here, and this is what you want to save to for auditing and compliance. So timestamps it, PC, user, IP, the file, what happened to the file. So you want to save this for auditing purposes. Okay. And it's going to ask if we want to do it again. We can say no, and it's going to exit. Okay. Let me drag that file there into the screen here so you can see that. Okay. So those are the 2 files that I created here, and you can use those. One is the private key splitting to secure your private keys. and then the other one is the key shredder software. Okay, so these are machine dependent. So it uses SHA-256. So even if they do get stolen off your machine or compromised, your attacker won't be able to reuse them anyways. Okay, because they don't have the verification key to use these. It's just going to open and close. Plus, they'll need a password to actually launch the application as well. So that's it. That's for the training. I hope you enjoyed this training. I hope you learned something. And if you have any question on the apps, send me an email. I'll be happy to help you. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one.